team because a lot of us get railroaded. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of us get railroaded. I don't never want to see no black. You know, yo, that's what these cats gonna be saying. Yo, they want to see a nigga. Nah, bro. I fought to keep guys out of jail for 27 years. But do I care about him going to jail? Nah, I don't, bro. I'm sorry. God just gonna have to take that off my heart. But that's my enemy. He made it clear. He made it clear when he was sending at me, when he was doing, when he was setting dudes up, when he was when he cursed Wolf mother out, when he set Wolf up to go at BMF, and it became my enemy, bro, as well as I became his. So why should I care? He did a whole lot of shit to a whole lot of people, and now he's paying for it. So all these cats, I guess y'all get y'all visitation rights. Y'all, some of y'all can get y'all conjugal visits right with them. I don't give a shit. That's how I feel about it, bro.
Freaky.
So his letter to the judge. You understand? I read his letter.
Freaky Diddy.
You understand? He was talking about how, okay, disgusting, how shameful, how sickening he was, and how what he did to Cassie, he has to dream about that night after night after night after. Come on, man. And I understand you're going to say whatever you got to say to get out of prison. And I don't blame him for that. You understand? Even stuff that I was talking about, and people was talking about, he don't know what he talking about. He admitted to, yo, Mighty, yo, Art, did I tell you that he got hooked on drugs when Kim Porter took that corkscrew and cut his wrist? They even brought that up in the trial. They brought it up today. The defense brought it up today. He brought it up in his letter that he'd been on drugs for 24 years. But when they brought it up, he didn't say, that's because I tried to beat my baby mama ass and she cut my wrist. They didn't add that to, that's why he had the operation on his wrist. You understand? They left that part out. But that's how he got hooked on those opiates. So now, the letter that he wrote the judge, I guess the judge looked at that because he mentioned it. And then you got to understand, too, his kids spoke. He spoke about the kids in his letter, that he wanted to be a father, he wanted to be a son and all that. And then the kids ended up speaking in trial. So if the judge was looking at the probation minimum of 72 years, he may have a change of heart. Because after Diddy spoke, he went and he said, we're going to do a 5-minute break. And he came back and did the sentencing. This was the longest sentencing probably in the history of the federal court, bro. I don't think it's been a sentencing this long in federal court. Usually they take 2.5 hours. You understand? 2.5, maybe 3 hours. This took what? 6, 7 hours. 6, 7 hours for the sentencing.
Hey, Mom.
Everybody on Diddy's team speak. Each one of the lawyers. Not only one lawyer spoke about the victims. Only one lawyer spoke about the victims. And I think that was a setup because Diddy spoke about the victims. And that was Cassie and Jane. You know, he apologized to them for bringing Jane into his life and the whole 9 yards and bringing her to his mess. But none of the lawyers spoke about the victim. One lawyer the lady, she was crying on the stand. Did you know she was crying on the stand?
Nah, I ain't hear about that.
The female lawyer was crying on the stand, man. That shit is crazy, man. But the judge said he's a puppet. The judge said, no, the prosecutor said he's a master puppeteer. He's a master puppeteer, she said. That shit was crazy to me, man. It was real crazy. And the lawyers, when they were speaking on Diddy being in prison and the circumstances of him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this, and nobody ever said anything about this. And I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive in jail, and they was talking about he was all the inmates loved him, and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shake him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans? Or that was one of the Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard, they said that in court. One of the lawyers, one of the guards stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shake.
I gotta agree with Jane on that one. I think that that was a strategy move that he was in danger for his life, and unless it was a CO that let somebody come at him, and I believe they do that. But he's supposed to be in restriction. He not supposed to be in population with everybody else. And you're a high risk celebrity. Because if anything happened to him and it's because the CEOs and the jail itself didn't protect him, that's a big lawsuit on the justice system. And they don't want that for the most part. You know what I'm saying? That's why I believe if somebody did kill Jeffrey Epstein, if he's dead, they made it look like he hung himself. So if he took his own life, then nobody did nothing to him. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a lawsuit that anybody can, unless, well, y'all supposed to be watching them. Why the camera not working? And like they were saying. So I don't know. But yeah. So I think it was a strategy move that they and they was like, well, who was the CEO that stopped somebody? So if they couldn't prove and give the CEO name for his protection, and if they didn't press it and say, well, I need the name, and then the courts be satisfied as if they talked to the CEO and he confirmed it. They ain't got to give his name, but you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I believe it was a strategy move to, to get some points. And I think it worked, you know what I'm saying? Because he did just get 50 months with time served, you know what I'm saying? So, I believe it did work, so, right, But then, like Jane said, he probably will be home in 2 years. So they gonna get ready for the Harlem parade, and I just might go up there, because I know as a content creator, it's gonna be off the chain up in Harlem, and I got ties to Harlem. My in-laws are from up there, and I can go up there and be in the window and record the whole parade that they're gonna do for that Joker. And if I know him, he probably throw a concert right there in the street. Had all the bad boy artists that wanna come and perform. Those like G-Dep that he ain't doing nothing. Ain't nobody checking for him, but up under the Diddy umbrella, he'll come out and release a new album under him because he will perform. And yeah, so that will be G-Dep Resurgence. But for real, let me say this. If Puff was really remorseful for anything he done, he would come out and make amends by everybody that felt like he did them wrong. Give them people 100,000, or everybody that was in the band and all the other artists from Puff Daddy and the family. Anybody that you wrong, you've been paying millions to fight this case, and they quit it or they did away with the RICO, so you got to keep your money and your family can still eat and live. You need to give everybody $100,000. You know what I'm saying? And it might not be what you owe them, but it's something to show that you're remorseful. You know what I'm saying? And you know that will really put him back in the public eye of really looking at him as, okay, this dude probably changed. It took jail and for him to get restricted and not being able to move like he want to move. That dude been rich for 30 years. He been having his way for 30 years. So it was like, it's like when you tell a child you're not going to get Christmas because you got a bad report card. Or if you get a bad report card, you will have nothing under the tree. So you had to take Christmas from them. That's what going to jail is equivalent to. You took Christmas from his ass. Literally, he gonna miss Christmas this year, like he did last year. So, however many years that he's in jail, he's missing Christmas. But the metaphor is you taking Christmas from him, something that he looks forward to, like a child. A child look forward to Christmas, and you take it. It really humbles them and it hurt them that you just can't have it your way or you're not able to enjoy what you want to enjoy. So either you're going to get more vindictive, like, okay, y'all got me, but wait till I come out. Everybody, like we on some President Trump move or mindset. If you said anything against me, I'm coming for you. So either it could go like that, or you come out remorseful, send some folks some checks and say it ain't much, but you know, I'm remorseful and I want to make it right. That will get everybody back in good graces with him. And he'll just pick up where he left off on a good note, on a good tip. So one or the other, and I'm very interested on how that's going to play out. Because of the Diddy of now, he gonna go the Trump route, the President Trump route. But let's see how sitting in that cell by himself and him with his thoughts, looking at himself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's see how it's going to impact him. You get what I'm saying? So let's see.
Kim, bro. And that was crazy. Nobody, I never, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and said, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up.
See?
But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see
if
they're going to investigate that right there.
That was a strategy move.
You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs.
But he was going to do that anyway.
He ain't got to worry about nothing.
He was going to do that anyway because he high profile. But that helped it. That put the icing on the cake.
And what's crazy is this, he got to worry about something now. You understand? Because he thought he had to worry about nothing because he thought he was going to a speaking engagement.
That's real bold.
That bold enough
That's
to
bold.
be setting up speaking engagements as if he was going to get out of jail. They were saying that he was going to get out of jail. He had speaking engagements set up for Miami.
Bold.
The judge heard that, and I guess the judge was like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah, really?
And then they
Really?
They brought in a guy from reentry who was an ex-prisoner who now he does reentry in Miami. I'm familiar with the reentry programs because we used to use them for the state too. Now, this guy spoke and said that it was more so not like a speaking engagement. It was more like a healing session. Hold up, you forgot the funny. Yo, they said this dude, one of the lawyers said that Diddy was a civil rights activist now. Can you believe that? He said he was a civil rights activist. I was like, they are going for they dropping all the jewels now.
Yeah.
They trying to get this mofo out. Now they don't care what they gotta say, what lies they gotta tell. They on getting his way out, man. And if it was anybody else other than him, I would have been like, yo, get that brother out. When you don't care about your enemies, you don't care about people you don't with, it didn't make a bit of difference to me. Let him go ahead and look back and see all the shit that he did. You know, and I believe he did. Because once those drugs start wearing out his system, once he don't need those opiates no more, if he was off of them, you know, it was no proof. He ain't had no drug test when he was in prison. You know what I'm saying? Drugs come through all those systems just like anywhere else. So then who's to say that he wasn't on some kind of substance? You know what I'm saying? But and once he got drug free and he's no longer those using those drugs now, he started getting his clarity back on who he may was or who he should have been or what he should have been doing.
Right.
And maybe he's thinking about all the people that he did wrong to, and he don't have the drugs to cloud his mind no more. Don't you know that they said he was traumatized by the notorious? They didn't use Big's name. They said he was traumatized by his friend that was in the drive-by shooting in L.A. Yo, my brother, I was like, these lawyers will say any damn thing. They'll say anything right now to try to get this dude to walk out this door today.
You better know it.
They gave him 50 months, bro. They gave him 50 months. You know what I'm saying? And 50 months, it wouldn't be hard to do in no camp or no kind of program. He'll be all right. Like I said, if Kirk Burrows did a couple of years in the federal penitentiary, Luke Kim did a couple of years in the federal penitentiary, he'll be all right. They ain't gonna have no problem with that.
He be all right.
They said that Diddy, yo, check it out. They said
ninjas get shot every day, B.
His own
who was that? Somebody put in the chat. Who quote was that?
Program in the prison system. Now, he didn't do any of this stuff until after he didn't take no drug courses, no drug classes. He didn't take he wasn't doing none of that stuff until after he came off the trial and he only had the Mann Act. So what the lawyers did was the lawyers then went and told him, yo, you got to see if you could start a program. You got to see if you could do some things, you know, so we can face this with the judge.
Right.
And because this judge was a new judge, they tried to pull a wool over his eyes by saying Diddy was doing all these programs, Diddy was doing all this stuff, you understand, because he's a better person, and now he knows right from wrong. Now he knows right from wrong and everything. The only thing that was heartbreaking for me to hear in this whole trial thing and this whole and it was heartbreaking, man. This broke my heart, man, and I don't give a F about this dude. When Quincy said he